I really got to watch out for is trying to be too productive. It's just like it's on my mind and I can't ignore it, and it's so hard for me to stop. I just want to keep going and finish. And I end up overdoing it, and then I crash really hard. I hope that I get to a point where I don't need it to avoid getting sick to my stomach. It kind of sucks not getting to enjoy that anymore and feeling like I have to take it regularly, like it's a chore. So it's been a full 2 months. I haven't had any cannabis. And I know there were some major issues with the house I was staying in before, but I actually noticed that not having cannabis seems to have made a huge difference. There was definitely another period where I didn't have cannabis for a month, and I didn't notice a major change in my health. Maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention, or maybe it's not just the cannabis by itself, but more of a combination of different things. My diet that is already incredibly limited was basically entirely off the menu. Like, everything I was eating was making me physically sick. And once I moved to another location, that stopped. Unless I was like in a part of the house that hadn't been cleaned and it was dusty, then I would start getting physically sick again. So I realized that, like, okay, so the dust is actually, for me, like, I found this totally surprising because I never imagined dust could be something that's like such a serious problem. But yeah, dust was making my food intolerances worse. But even when I moved to a new place that was less dusty, that had been freshly cleaned, I was still, I wasn't getting physically sick every time I ate, but I still couldn't expand my diet to what it had been like 6 months ago. And I still just felt this like constant sluggishness. Like, I couldn't really, I just feel like I can never really do anything. I don't have, like, I'm just like constantly foggy versus feeling like I have a moment of clarity and I can use it for a very short time. Like, I have a very small window. I feel like I have no window at all. And I think that all of this happened since I ran out of cannabis. I didn't feel like I was ready to sleep. I just felt like I felt like it would be a good time to smoke, like, to just, you know, because I've been doing it maybe a bit too much, and I was starting to feel like I need to, I don't know, like, it just has this sort of like, I don't know how to describe it, sort of like pain in my brain when I've overexerted myself. And if I smoke, then it's like, it calms things down. And it puts a stop to it. This pain goes away. It's like my brain is able to relax, and it's not, it doesn't feel like I've overdone it.
helps my brain slow down.
I woke up feeling kind of like a little out of it, like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to do anything productive, so it would have been the perfect time to smoke, but there's something I wanted to do just a few hours later. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait and smoke after that, so that, you know, I'm like, have my full mental clarity. I don't know, then I just, like, I started feeling really sleepy, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take a nap. And I woke up feeling so just like this really bad headache, like after I've been in a food coma. And this, yeah, just like feeling where I wake up and I'm just like, oh, like I can barely talk, and I can barely move, and just like really achy and miserable kind of feeling. And that's how I felt when I woke up just now, and I'm like I haven't even done anything, I haven't eaten anything, I haven't been around anything. The only thing it could be is the Ainwa that I ate yesterday, still in my system, still digesting, which is even more proof that the cannabis was helping with the digestion. And it just, I don't have that protection anymore because I didn't smoke when I should have. But if I had smoked at 6 this morning before I went to sleep, I would have been fine. Okay, here's the difference. Last night, when I ate the Ainwa shortly after smoking, I could hear some rumbling in my stomach, but it didn't feel like I was about to be sick. Now, I feel like I'm about to be sick, but I haven't taken any kind of H2. I'm just gonna smoke and see how it goes. I just smoked and I feel good. So I smoked for a few days, and then that was pretty much my limit, because it starts to get kind of difficult to breathe. So now I've converted to tincture form, and I have no problems taking my daily doses, like, as soon as I need them, because I don't have to go outside, I don't have to smoke. I just, drop it in my mouth and I'm good to go. I don't want to say it's having a huge effect on my energy, because I know for sure my energy is better now than it was a few days ago, because I was crashed and now I've recovered from that. But it definitely affects my productivity, because there are things that, like, even small things that I've been wanting to work on for months, and it just felt like I couldn't do anything. And then as soon as I have the tincture, I'm able to start working, and it was, very, very little bit, because I was so crashed, but it was something. Like, finally I was back to it, I was making progress. And the thing I have to really watch out for is not to try to do too much, because I get in my flow. It's, yeah, like I'm in the zone, I'm focused, the work is flowing, I really want to finish, and I might actually feel fine in the moment, or I can tell I've really passed my limit and I'm like already starting to pay for it, but I just really want to be done as soon as possible, so I try to keep going until I finish. So what I really gotta watch out for is trying to be too productive with this. And it's sort of like, it seems contradictory, because on the one hand it helps me relax and shut my brain off when I need to. But I mean, that's really like the beginning, like maybe the first hour or two. And then after that, I'm still feeling the effects, but I'm working through the effects to do whatever it is I want to do. And it feels like it's a good time for me to be productive, but it's also a very good time for me to overdo it without even realizing it. To the point where like then I come down and the effects wear off, and I'm like, oh, whoa, okay. Like, now I immediately need to like jump back into my next dose, which is something I really don't like, because I prefer to be able to think clearly. I always want to be like fully lucid for any sort of like thinking that I need to be doing. But I guess it's just gotten to the point where like I need to be able to think through some kind of fog, whether it's coming from the cannabis or the brain fog that results from my illness. And honestly, the cannabis fog is much nicer to work through than brain fog. Much less pain and achiness and yeah, just overall discomfort. So yesterday was my third day without smoking or without cannabis, and I was feeling nauseous at one point. I'm not entirely sure if that's related. Yeah, I kind of like had this feeling like I was gonna be sick. And then this morning, before I even ate anything, I actually did end up sick to my stomach. I've had like Canna Light, stuff like that, where there are low levels of THC, but you can't actually get high from it. So like there's still some amount of it in my body, which is probably why I was able to go this long without getting sick. But I'm like also starting to hear this rumbling noise that I always get before I end up really sick. The Canna Light definitely is not enough long term. I think it was just the effects of having the actual cannabis in my system before it finally wore off, and maybe the Canna Light just helped those effects last a little bit longer. You know, maybe I would have gotten sick like 2 days earlier without the Canna Light, but either way, the effects wear off and I start getting sick again. So I definitely do need to continue with the cannabis, but at the same time, I really feel that there's some, like, either there's something I'm still exposed to that's causing this, or there's some damage that was caused that still needs to heal. I'm really hoping that this isn't permanent, that I'm not developing that I'm not developing IBD or anything serious like that, where this is just gonna like continue forever. I'm hoping that if I continue with the cannabis, eventually there will be a point where I don't need it for that particular symptom anymore. Like, I'm sure that like I still need it to relax, for anxiety, to help me be more productive. I hope that I get to a point where I don't need it to avoid getting sick to my stomach. Because then maybe I could also go back to using it less often, which means that I would actually feel the effects. I get to enjoy feeling high, because at this point, like, it's not recreational at all. Like, I feel nothing, which is, yeah, I mean, it is kind of disappointing because, like, I did enjoy, you know, like, the occasional recreational smoke when I was visiting a friend who happened to have some. So, like, yeah, it kind of sucks not getting to enjoy that anymore and feeling like I have to take it regularly, like it's a chore. See, like, now I'm high, but like, I'm talkative. I come up with like innovative ideas. I have laughing fits. I eat a lot. I listen to music or watch movies for a while. And then I do something productive. Like, that's it. It's not like I'm like catatonic, or, you know, it's like, it's not the same sort of like wild experience that you have like the first few times, or, you know, if you only do it occasionally. So yeah, I view them as two very different things, very different experiences, so whether it's like recreational or medicinal. I'm just coming down now. It's been really chill, relaxing. Starting to work on braiding my hair. And probably gonna do something productive here soon. I'm glad that I wasn't trying to work through the high and be productive during the past few hours, which is something I do when I get really hyper focused on something. But I push through, but I do end up paying for it later, so it's actually better if I just don't even go there at all. I feel like I'm really reckless about pacing because I have like no self-control when it comes to being disciplined about stuff like that. When I feel like I need to rest, I should rest, and like I do if I'm like sleepy. I eat if I'm hungry, you know. Like, I can never stick with a diet because I just can't resist whatever I'm craving. But when it comes to pacing, it's just like, it's on my mind, and I can't ignore it, and it's so hard for me to stop. I just want to keep going and finish. And I end up overdoing it, and then I crash really hard, and then I get really scared because I'm like, oh, why was I being so reckless? Like, I'm gonna cause myself serious harm. I need to take this seriously and be more careful, but it's just so hard to do it. Like, I'm not a patient person, and I just get really like antsy that time is going by, and I'm moving so slow, and I'm trying to keep up with people who are able-bodied and act like I'm like them, and I'm not, and it's a lot. So I'm glad that today I wasn't feeling anxious about anything in particular, so I was able to just chill, and now I will try to get some stuff done. Yo, is laughing too much dangerous? Because I got this one strain of weed that has me like literally ROFLing, and I'm just like bent over, and it hurts so much. Like, I feel like my body's gonna break in half.